Was Corey Feldman abused as a boy? His claim that as a young child actor he was passed around Hollywood pedophiles has long been the subject of gossip, speculation, and jokes. Only now, following the Harvey Weinstein revelations, are his claims being treated with much seriousness. Feldman's case is not the only one of interest. Anthony Rapp was the first to accuse Kevin Spacey of harassing underage men, and now others have come forward with their testimonies. Nathan Winters has discussed abuse at the hands of Jeepers Creepers director and convicted pedophile Victor Salva. Bryan Singer, of X-Men fame, has been accused of assault. Skepticism is required. We know from acquittals that followed the storm of allegations that ensued after the Jimmy Savile episode to maintain due process. Still, for due process to be carried out, claims have to be investigated. The much-lauded, little-heated documentary In Open Secret aired rumors and allegations years ago. Even his spotlight earned an Oscar for celebrating the exposure of abuse in the Catholic Church. Abuse in Hollywood stayed beneath the surface. It is past time that we confronted the abuse that underage performers have endured. It is past time, too, that we confronted the exploitative nature of the practice of making young men and women famous. Christopher Hardman was 15 when he appeared on the British television show Rock School. He was catapulted to fame and his first single, Checkin' It Out, reached number 3 in the charts. Less than 10 years later, Lil Chris, as he was known, killed himself. He had been suffering from depression, exacerbated, his friends said, by his failure to achieve lasting success, and the struggles of adapting to normal life. Thinking about quitting music, read a heartbreaking tweet he published before his death. "I'm just not good enough." Granted, older men and women have faced the same problems. Yet this is one among almost innumerable cases. There have been Jodie Fosters and Leonardo DiCaprios who have had successful and, it seems, enjoyable careers, but many others have suffered. The internet is crammed with morbid listicles like 32 child stars who died terribly young and 10 former child stars who became messed up adults. None of them even approach exhaustiveness. Famously, the 3 child stars of the sitcom Different Strokes all faced problems with addiction, crime, or mental illness. Gary Coleman went through drug abuse and legal troubles. Todd Bridges ended up hooked on crack cocaine. Dana Plato endured years of drugs, crime and career failure before dying of a painkiller overdose. Other industries shorten the lives of those involved. Pro wrestlers, for example, die with morbid frequency. Yet at least wrestlers make an adult decision to enter their careers. Child stars are driven into theirs before they are mature enough to know what they are getting into. Suddenly, kids are surrounded by publicists, agents, co-stars, lawyers, and executives, some of whom, as we have learned, have no scruples about exploiting the trust of the parents. Suddenly, they are confronted with cameras and microphones, and led out to face thousands of baying enablers. How can anybody think this is a good environment for a young mind and a young soul? How can anybody think this won't have consequences? When child stars grow up a little, they walk down 2 dangerous paths. One leads back into the wilderness of obscurity, where some are disappointed, disillusioned, and alone. One leads kids into the arms of decadent fame, with its drugs, its sex, its sycophants, its money-hungry Hankerson, and its almost ever-present paparazzi. Adults, in most cases, would be warped by such environments. Teenagers, whose self-knowledge and self-constructions have developed amid the unnatural circumstances of celebrity, and who are surrounded by men and women who are invested in them as products and not people, have little chance. What is absurd is how we moralize about someone like Justin Bieber when he is pretentious or irresponsible. What else can one expect from a young man who, since his adolescence, has been the object of international obsession, and exposed to every vice that could possibly tempt a man? It is ludicrous for people to demand maturity. Without drawing equivalents with actual abuse, one must also note a lascivious undercurrent in attitudes towards child stars. When the singer Charlotte Church was 15 years old, the English tabloid The Daily Star printed a photo of her with the leering observation that she looked just swell. Annie Leibethes released a famous photograph of a bedraggled Miley Cyrus clutching a bedsheet. More recently, the model Ally Michael published a photo of the 14-year-old Stranger Things actor, Finn Wolfhard, with the caption, "Hit me up in 4 years." These incidents are disturbing not merely because they sexualize children but because their implicit message is that the lives of child stars are public property. One could argue that child stars are as old as civilization. Princes and princesses grow up in the public eye. But there are important differences between them and celebrities. Royals, barring revolution, will always be famous. They will never have to go back and live normal lives again. Their advisors keep a close eye on them through their adolescence, and are invested in them being respectable. Those of child stars have a morbid incentive to see them plunge off the rails. It is good for profits when they are a little edgy. It attracts attention. Obviously, children can have some celebrity. Ours would be a poorer culture if young boys and girls never appeared in films. Yet their fame as individuals should be limited. Their induction into public life should come over time. There should be a more severe approach to who they are surrounded with, and their alienation from their families. In some ways, we are more sensitive to child exploitation. Marriage ages have been raised. The times when rock stars openly flaunted teenage groupies are behind us. Yet the weirdness of exposing kids to sleazy, profit-seeking industries with proven records of destroying them has yet to strike us. Children should be given a chance to grow up. If you watch them prance about on stage, remember they are not much different to the children prancing round your local school or living room.